So hello again, this is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you. We got a few things I'd like to talk about, but welcome again everybody to the channel, all the new subscribers. We really appreciate it. I can't tell you how gratifying it is. I do have to say that there's more viewers, according to the statistics, from Amory, Wisconsin than Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Come on, Milwaukee, I don't know what you're doing here. We set this all up for you guys. So hey, not to mention everybody from Australia and all the way around the world. Come on, hometown crew, let's pick it up here. With that being said, we started out mostly focused on cases that I was doing and Milwaukee Public Schools. And I do a lot of school law, so that's why the title of our channel is Deliberate Indifference. That's a legal term for the standard that the school board has to meet, pretty high standard, deliberately indifferent before you can hold a school district liable for the actions of employees there. So that's why we are called deliberate indifference. When you look at, broadly speaking, though, I think, again, what we are trying to do here, and boy, do I wish I had Debbie Keither here to help me out on this one, but what we try to do is look at firsthand sources of government that we get, and a lot of stuff that we do is, I know a lot of people come for the cross-examination. I appreciate that. But I also want to encourage everybody to look at, the totality of the circumstances here in terms of what else we can have to show you and what you can learn about how government reacts. I think something that's being tapped into right now is, people want to know how they can exercise their rights. I think increasingly, it doesn't take much. The Miss Eskro has sort of said, told me, I don't think that's, I'm talking out of school here, that she never anticipated to be considered a civil rights hero. And I think it's fair to say that the bar is pretty low right now. So that's why a lot of people, I think, are focused on the content that we're providing. And what I'd like you to take from that is these individual examples. One of the best that we had is Lanita Tate. That's in Milwaukee Public Schools. I'm going to say MPS because everybody around here knows that, but Milwaukee Public Schools food service employee who was blacklisted by MPS for filing too many FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act complaints, for getting injured too many times, and she made a complaint against her supervisor for retaliation. And that's ultimately what caused her to be blacklisted here. So we put out some content from that, sort of on a Ben Hitchcock Cross Greatest Hits. So we'd really encourage you to watch that whole. Lanita Tate is a good example. Another rich area to mine for viewers out there is Matt Chasen's depositions. I really encourage you all to watch them. We have a lot more coming. I think he's been deposed 3 times in total. And nobody but Matt Chasen can show you how completely ineffective a complaint system can be when it's set up to be completely ineffective. And I think for the most part they are, and especially in government, but also in the corporate area as well. So those are 2 things that I would really encourage you to take a look at. But again, thanks everybody for all your views. So let's move on here to what I'd like to also talk about today, which is Bethany Eskro and sort of what it means to be a civil rights, to stand up here. And we talked about courage, and I think we've talked about money in large part. But I do want to emphasize again that the bar is so low that many people are just desperate for some way to say, what can I do to stand up? Okay, and I think there's different movements out there that want to tap into legal resources to help achieve those means. Auditors and the like, the First Amendment movement. And let's be clear, there was certainly a free speech movement in the 60s and 70s. So This is not a problem. First time that we've had this problem in this country, and you know, it took people in the 60s and 70s and to fight that. So what I want to say here is, so many people are saying, have made the comment, and this is partially what I'm responding to here, is how can we use lawyers like you, Ben, to get X, Y, and Z? And my response to that is that lawyers really are agents. We assist you. We can help formulate and argue on your behalf. We can help articulate legal arguments and help research and tell you what the law is. But ultimately, the people who are doing the actions are you. It's not the lawyers, right? I'm just speaking for Bethany Eskro. I'm not the one creating the news. That's her. So yes, it is gratifying to be able to cross-examine people with some effectiveness, and it's definitely gratifying to be able to assist. But that's one thing I want to point out here, is that when you say my role as a lawyer, I think, is to assist people who are doing what they're doing already. And to put that another way is that if you want to make a change out there wherever you are, if it's New Zealand or Australia or anywhere else apparently in the English-speaking world, that it all starts with you, and you may need help, but you're not going to get the victory I think that you are probably hoping for in the legal system. Okay, the legal system can follow what you're doing and back up what you're doing and assist what you're doing. But ultimately, it's working together with other people to say, no, we don't like what you're doing. That's what changes things. And again, what I want to stress is, it's possible to go into a court and win. It definitely is. But usually when we're talking about in the court system, we're talking about a single person, a single case. And it's true, you know, we focus on a lot of times what the Supreme Court does and these broader speaking cases. But it's my opinion that the majority of the Supreme Court cases that effectively move and change the law are really only following where the people have already been for 10, 15, 20 years. It's very rare, I'd say exceptional, almost unheard of, to have the Supreme Court get out in front of anything. And not just in terms of progressive or regressive or you know, civil rights or First Amendment law or any other thing. It's very unusual for a court to get out in front of where the people are at. And there's good reasons for that, especially the way the court systems are set up, the kind of people who get into the court systems, the way the judges are rewarded, incentivized, the lawyers who become judges are rewarded and incentivized. All of those things and more lead to really the law being a poor tool to be the spear point of change. So I want to, you know, acknowledge, and I really want to say that I appreciate everybody out there who is looking for some way to change and hoping that the law is that way to do that. I think the law, at best, you can be the ones to drag the law along with you. But I think that's where your time is better spent than it is to really to fight in the law first and only. Okay, and I don't want to say that that's not. We're going to talk about how you do that a lot in this channel here, but I don't want to discourage anybody from using legal recourse that's available to them. I want to point out that lawyers in the law, ultimately, we create rules. And the reason that you have rules is to govern new things, new ideas, new ways of being. And so it's the flexible system here that allows it, if it can be flexible, it only is flexible in the sense that it's following here. I think when we think of famous decisions like Brown versus Board of Education, they were following. They weren't leading. and the fact that they have the power to drag the entire country with them in ways that, for example, the gay marriage case from Texas, that case really made gay marriage legal everywhere. But I think it's also fair to say that that um, gay marriage was already existing. That was not the first time that this idea had come up, and you could not say that those lawyers had revolutionized that field. You can say that they helped clarify for everybody what those rules are going to be going forward, and created a more homogenous set of rules all over the country, for better or for worse. Okay? So we're going to definitely talk about what needs to happen to file a complaint in escrow, and we'll talk about that in another video because I don't want to go on too long here. But I appreciate your attention. Stick with us. We'll keep you informed.